Weather Lab. Here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, if you like today's weather, you're going to like tomorrow. Lots of sunshine, temperatures in the lower 90s, heat index near 102. But as we head into the weekend, of course, the rain chances are going to return. We'll talk more about that and also tell you what's happening in the tropics. Some interesting things going on there. So a quick look at the water vapor imagery. Looking at the upper level pattern, we have this ridge of high pressure that has been dominant in our forecast and will be for one more day. It's been keeping those tropical waves out in the Gulf of Mexico shuttling generally from east to west or even southwest. Got another blob over here. This ridge of high pressure is going to shift off to the east coast, so that's going to allow this tropical moisture to head closer to Louisiana as we head into Saturday and Sunday. So that's why our rain chances will go up then. So let's flip it over, take a look at the enhanced satellite imagery. You see a little bit of a cluster of storms associated with that moisture surge across southwest off the coast of southwest Florida. Big action in the Pacific continues to be Hurricane Sergio, 125-mile-an-hour winds. Once Cat 4 with 140, now beginning to weaken, and eventually this system may make a run for the desert Southwest 10 days down the road after some big floods across portions of Arizona just a few days ago. Now in the Atlantic Basin, Tropical Storm Leslie weakening and moving out in the open ocean, so no issues there, but we're watching this tropical disturbance. It's a broad area of low pressure, but we don't see anything really organized around that low that is pretty much on the Honduras-Nicaraguan border. There is maybe a broad low pressure circulation and maybe several others in Central America. Upper level winds right now not conducive for any development, very hostile, but as this feature drifts to the north and west, conditions could become more favorable for development up toward the tip of the Yucatan, and this is why the National Hurricane Center has actually upped the chance of development now to 50%. That's a moderate chance of development, especially as we get into the 3 to 5 day period. And also this blob that we show you where we think the development is going to occur, this is per the National Hurricane Center, is a little bit farther to the west, and you see which way that arrow is pointing, but we do think something like that may go down the road. So let's take a look at the European model. Not going to go with much deterministic model information quite yet because we still don't have anything developing, but you can see the moisture entering the Gulf of Mexico as we go into Monday of next week. That moisture moves northward, and this purple, this is where you have that deep tropical moisture, and that's where you have the heavy flooding rains. That works its way northward through the Gulf of Mexico and hopefully a trough to the west, and high pressure weakens enough to the east to allow this system to go to the north and then to the northeast and maybe clip the area, but we think perhaps southeast Louisiana over toward Florida as we get into the mid to latter part of next week. And if that were to be the case, then we're going to see drier air push in and maybe even cooler temperatures as we go into the following weekend. But we're just going to have to wait and see, and we're going to have maybe a different story for you tomorrow. Just a subtle reminder, the peak of the hurricane season, September 10th, 11th, 12th. Prime time for Louisiana goes into the first week of October, so we're still kind of in prime time season. You can see that secondary peak of hurricane season. That occurs mostly because of activity in the Caribbean, especially the Northwest Caribbean. So not done with the tropical season quite yet, and we'll just have to wait and see. Near term, nice and quiet, fair skies tomorrow, fair to partly cloudy conditions, perhaps an isolated shower, but rain chances quite low. We go into Saturday, we're going to see that moisture beginning to develop along the coast and then work its way inland for Saturday afternoon. That's where we'll see a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. So we're not actually keeping count, but it feels like sultry night number 125 so far, 74 the low, maybe a little light fog by daybreak, 92 the high tomorrow. Certainly a summery finish to the week, but with more clouds and a few more showers and storms this weekend will limit our highs to the upper 80s, but it will stay just as humid. Going into next week, rain chances down on Monday, but they could perk up, especially for next Wednesday. And we have that moniker on the 10-day forecast, watching the Gulf.